Hello and welcome back to Zanthyst Gaming Nephilim. Recently, with Diablo 3 going on sale, we've seen an influx of new viewers to the stream as well as to the Reddit forums. A lot of them have been asking what they should know when they're first starting out. So today we're going to talk about some key things that many players wish they knew when they started. I've been playing since the original game launched, well actually since the demo when you could kill the orc, but I digress. And these are some tips that I've learned over time as the game has evolved and throughout my 2,000 plus hours of gameplay. I hope you enjoy. Alright, the very first tip that you absolutely positively should always do is go into options and enable elective mode. So in order to enable elective mode, hit escape, go into options, go into gameplay, and find it on the right hand side here, fourth from the bottom. Elective mode enables full customization of skill selection and placement on the action bar. You need to make sure that that is on. If not, you'll be pigeonholed into certain skills on certain slots, and you do not want that. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is display settings. You can have it where it shows the numbers as the full numbers like you'd see out in the real world with commas separating place value like so. The problem with that is sometimes it becomes hard to see what's happening, or alternatively you can change it so that it's only showing an abbreviated version. So instead of showing 219 billion written out like that as a long number, I can go into options, I could turn off display long floating numbers, and now it's going to abbreviate that to show me the number in a more concise way where it shows like 313.2 B for billion or 3T for trillion. It becomes a lot less clutter on the screen, and personally I prefer it that way. The other option you can change is how items are displayed on the ground. Right now I have it showing icons on the ground instead of names. So it's going to show me a yellow icon for rare items, a blue icon for blue items. It's going to show a picture of the item so I know what type of item it is. For instance, it's showing me a quiver, so I know that's a quiver. It's showing me bracers, so I know that's brace, or shoulder pads, so I know that's shoulder pads. Sorry. Staff right there, and death's breath right there. The other option you can do is you can go in and turn off the icons or turn it on. I don't remember how it starts by default. And then it's going to show you the full name of the item. For instance, Brawl Ward, Archer Remedy, Teaming Banner. The reason I don't like this as much is it doesn't give me as much information about exactly what the item is. I prefer the icon because it's going to show me what type of item it is, as well as the rarity. It does show you the rarity with color coding here as well, though. I think it's more of those. It's another one of those personal preference things. And while we're at it, don't forget to hit F1 and turn on your pet. And your pet will automatically run around and pick up gold for you. Another thing that goes with the display settings is you can have monster health bars showing and player health bars showing, and those options are also in here. Display player names, display monster health bars, display player health bars. Those are all options that you can enable as well. It doesn't display your own player health bar though. That's only for people that you are grouped with. But when you're playing against enemies and you hit them, it'll show their health bar above their head. Notice how it's not there, but as soon as you hit them, it'll start displaying a health bar above their head. So that can be really helpful in tracking how close to dead they are, especially against elites and bosses. The next thing you need to know is that when you are at different difficulties, it modifies your legendary drop rate by different amounts. For instance, a T1 drop rate for legendaries is 15% versus a Torment 13 drop rate for legendaries is 625%. If you're out in the general world, that's the percent it is. But if you're inside of a rift at T1, it goes from 15% to 44%. And if you're at T13, it goes from 625 to 901%. The next tip is for grouping. There are several reasons you might want to group. One reason is that you get more experience and better legendary drop chance if you're grouping. Another reason is the game's just more fun with friends. So ways that you can find groups are you can come down into communities and you can join a community for whatever type of group you want to be in, and then you go into chat and you just say looking for group and you hit enter. The other way you can do it is using the built-in matchmaking system with the game, and in order to do that you go to game settings, you change your game from private to public, and then you choose the activity that you want to do, and then you just hit join game. When you're in the game, the more people who are in the party with you, the higher your legendary drop chance, the higher your experience modifier, the higher your gold modifier. So this is the ideal way to play the game. If you can play it with real life friends or with online friends, that's even better. But if you don't have anyone else who's playing the game with you, you can always find a group and make friends inside of the game like this. I actually have quite a few people on my friends list that I met through the public matchmaking system in this game. So it's definitely something that can be a valuable tool for you throughout your progression. And the last tip is to use your resources. And by that, I mean there are lots of resources available to you on the internet already. Don't try to reinvent the wheel when you're first starting out. It can be fun to kind of play around with builds and try to discover things on your own, but the way certain items are hard-coded into the game, some items are modified multiplicatively, some items are modified additively. Sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense, and something that would seem amazing really isn't that good. So if you really are into experimenting and finding things out yourself, go ahead and have fun with it. But I would really recommend using the resources that are online in order to get to know the game a little bit better to start. With that said, here are some resources you can use. If you go to YouTube, Riker's website is amazing. He has all kinds of build guides, different ways to play, tier lists, all kinds of stuff. And there's also lore videos on that website if you want to learn more about Diablo in general. Riker is a great community member. He streams regularly. He's a nice guy. Be sure to check him out. Also, there's the Icy Veins website. You can go there and get build guides for your class. For instance, here I'm on Marauder Demon Hunter. You can go to whatever class set you start with the season gift and get a build guide from there, or you can get, hey, I just hit 70 and I need to figure out what to put for my skills and what to put for my gear. There's a list here of things that you can do. Very helpful resource on Icy Veins. I would really recommend it. Another one that's really useful is Diablo fans. They're a little bit harder to use at first. You go into the builds and then you have to fiddle around with things a little bit. So select your class that you're playing, change the patch to the current patch, and then click top of all time, because if you don't click that, then you're going to get things that were just submitted this week and aren't very good. Top of all time will sort the top builds of all time for the patch that you select. And then you can look and choose what you want. If you want to search for a specific set, start typing the name of one of the items of the set. So if I want Unhallowed Essence, I would type in Hell Cage. Or not Hell Cage, Cage of Hell, I think it's called. Cage of the Hellborn, there it is. And then that's going to give me only builds that are for the UE Demon Hunter. And the UE is the multi-shot Demon Hunter. But you can also build it for grenades or several other things, as you can see here. Now, when you're looking at builds on this website, you want to kind of notice that there's Greater Rift builds and there's speed builds. Now, back on Riker's website, he has that tier list video that tells you the best builds for each class. What that means is the best builds for pushing. And pushing is really fun, and it's what I like to do the most. It's how you get on the leaderboards. But 99% of the game, you will not be playing in your pushing set. Most of the time, your pushing set is not your farming set. And that's very important to know, and a mistake that a lot of new players make is they spend all their time in their pushing set trying to farm in T13, and it's just not the most efficient way to go. So for Demon Hunters, for instance, the pushing set is going to be the Sentry build with Natalia and Marauder. It's two pieces, it's two sets combined. It moves slow, methodically, but it can do 90s to 120s very, very easily. In fact, at the end of the first weekend, I did a 92 before I had really anything optimized or set up. But I would not run this in T13, or I would not run this in 60s for speed because it's really slow. Instead, I would use the Unhallowed Essence multi-shot build in order to farm for speed. Even though it's rated at a lower tier, it's better for speed farming. So know the content that you're wanting to do when you're looking at these tier lists and when you're looking at these guides. If you're wanting to get a build for farming T13 or farming Greater Rifts quickly, then look for speed farm builds. If you're looking for pushing builds, you want to look for ones that are touted as top tier or 110 plus, 100 plus, things like that. So make sure you know the difference between those two things. Another resource you can go to is Diablo Progress. Now this strictly shows pushing builds, but you can go into whatever your class is and it'll show whoever the top is on the leaderboards right now, and it'll snapshot their gear and their Paragon and their loadout that they had. So if I want to know what Latios did on the hardcore boards to get a rank 110, I could pull in here. I could see, oh, he's using Marauder with multi-shot. Those are his passes. This is his gear. I can click on him right here, and it's going to take me to some more specific information about him. I can look at his specific profile on BattleNet as well if I want to by clicking the BattleNet link, and it's going to link me to his full gear profile, and I can see exactly what he's wearing, how he has it rerolled, that sort of thing. That info, oh, of course it doesn't pull up right now. Thanks, game. That information is also available inside the game, though. If you want to find it there, you just hold shift and you hit L, and then you right click and you hit view hero details, and you can see exactly what he's wearing, how he has it rerolled, what he has built out, what's in his cube, all that stuff. That's really stuff for later on when you get to know the game a little bit more, but I just wanted to throw it out here right now. It's a resource that you can use as you're getting to know the game and starting to build out your sets and such. Anyway, hopefully this guide has been helpful to you. That last one might have been a little bit advanced, but hopefully it's been helpful to you either way. Stop by, we're going to have more tip videos coming up throughout this week and next week, and I hope you found this useful. Make sure to leave a like and a comment down below if you did. Either way, thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, YouTube.